Pilates is powerful. The transformation that you can experience by doing Pilates at home is incredible. My team and I are going to walk you through some foundational components of the Pilates method so that you can begin your Pilates journey with ease and confidence. We believe Pilates is for everybody, and you can start where you're at today, and as you continue your Pilates journey, you will see results. Pilates goes against the old school mentality of long, hard, sweaty workouts and no pain, no gain. You do not have to work that way in order to see results, and Pilates proves that. My team and I are going to walk you through some of the foundational principles of Pilates. We're going to talk about how to engage the core effectively and efficiently to build strong abs, but not just strong abs, also a stable core, healthy lower back so that you can feel your best and feel strong from your center out. We're going to talk about the importance of the spine, movement of the spine, flexion, extension, rotation, all elements of staying healthy and active for years to come. We're also going to talk about the importance of neutral spine in Pilates. Again, we'll walk you through this, but this is an element of Pilates that helps you to feel your best both on your mat and off the mat. I'm going to walk you through the importance of breath and focus. These are two things that you'll be reminded of frequently in your workouts. Nothing that you need to be an expert at right now, but we'll talk about how breath can help you to move with more efficiency and more ease, support you both on the mat and off the mat, as well as the importance of focus and the mind-body connection. So let's get started by talking about neutral spine. Let's talk about neutral spine, a term and a phrase that you probably hear a lot in class, and it's helpful to know exactly what we mean when we say that. So there's two places in which I think neutral spine, we talk about it the most, and you might need like a little bit more guidance on. So I will talk you through that. We'll start lying down on our back. So lying down in what we call a neutral spine, you want to feel that your pelvis is level. So I like to use the bowl of soup image or a bowl of cereal, nice and full all the way to the top. And you want to feel that you're not dumping your soup or cereal one way or another, whether that's towards your feet or towards your chest, towards the left or the right, but that it's just nice and level. If we want to get technical, we could say that our two front hip bones and our pubic bone are all on the same plane, so they are flat. And then you want to allow just a nice soft chest and just kind of the natural curves of the upper spine as well. So there'll be a space under your neck and a space under your low back. And that is what we would call a neutral spine. So when you're moving your legs from a neutral spine position, you want to keep that bowl of soup or cereal nice and stable. When you're lifting your head, neck, and chest, same rules apply. So that's neutral spine lying on your back. And now we will talk about neutral spine on all fours, so on your hands and knees. So I'll just flip over onto my hands and knees. With your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders, the same idea applies here. We're just kind of flipped over. So you want to allow those natural curves of the spine. So a long neck and that natural curve of the low back. So it'll feel like the base of your spine, the sacrum, is nice and flat and your tailbone is pointed directly behind you. Or maybe your sit bones is a good image there. So tailbone or sit bones pointed directly behind you. Abdominals drawn in to kind of stabilize that neutral pelvis position, and the ribs just gently hugging the front of the body so they aren't dropping and splaying open. And that will create that nice neutral spine, sort of almost flat line of the back. It's not quite like a total flat back where you would slightly tuck the tail, nor is it an arc. So flat sacrum. If you're lying on your back, it'd be the flat bowl of soup or cereal and just a long neck. And those are the most important ideas to keep in mind when we talk about neutral spine, things to think about, little cues to just help you find that positioning when you're setting up for various exercises on your back or on your hands and knees. So you'll see those in workouts, and I hope that they are helpful to you. We'll see you on the mat soon.
So Pilates is known for developing core strength, and something that is very essential is knowing how to activate your core properly. So let's go ahead and lie down on our backs. Legs can be bent in front of you, hip width distance apart. All right, so lying down on our backs here, we want to come to neutral spine. So remember, neutral is not imprinted and we're not arching. Come right in between those two. All right, let's take your hands to your low belly here. And as you breathe in, allow your breath to just move freely through your body. And as you exhale, think of drawing your low belly in and up, and those two hip bones that you're touching, can you think of drawing those two bones together here? As you draw them together, you're not imprinting your back, right? You still want to stay neutral, so it's a very subtle movement. You're not squeezing anything. Let's do that again. Big inhale. And as you exhale, just think of using your breath to draw those hip bones together as you think of zipping your low belly in and up. One more time. So with that connection here, let's add some movement with the lower body. This time as you exhale, think of drawing those hips in and try to keep that connection. Keep your spine neutral as you pick one leg up to tabletop. And then lower that leg down and see the other side. Exhale, feel that wrapping, the drawing in, and take the other leg up to tabletop. So you might just practice here for a little bit. And what we're looking for is that the spine is not changing. We're still neutral. Once you have that, you can take one leg up to tabletop and practice taking both legs up to tabletop. So here, we're still keeping the hips drawn together nice and narrow, still keeping that neutral spine. And then you can take one leg down and the other. So what we're starting to do is load more work on those abdominals without even lifting your head and chest, right? We're working those deep, deep abs. So you can play around with this. And these are the essential movements that are going to take you into the full expressions of the exercises. When you are seated, we can still come to that same connection here. So in Pilates, we have different positions through the body. We're not always on our back. Sometimes we're on hands and knees. Sometimes we're standing. But we always want to be able to tune in to those muscles. So I invite you to take a seat with me with one hand in front of you, one hand behind you, coming to neutral. So remember, we're not tucking, we're not arching, we're right up on your sitting bones. And let's find that breath again. So as you breathe, let your belly expand with breath. Let your ribs open up like a big canister, 360 degrees. And then as you exhale, without changing the shape of your spine behind you, can you draw your belly away from your hand just a smidge? Doesn't have to be squeezing. We want to still be able to move freely through our bodies without restriction. And just see if you can feel that. Again, big inhale into the front hand. Let it move. And then exhale, without changing the spine behind you, draw your belly in and up away from that front hand. And so as you continue your Pilates practice, you'll be able to feel more and more connected with these abdominal muscles and your deep core muscles. So keep this in mind as you're going through your exercises, and I will see you on the mat.
Today we're learning foundational movements of the spine. So these are key concepts that, when you understand them, can help make your Pilates practice more clear. The first one we'll learn is the concept of flexion, which is basically any time that we are coming forward, flexing, folding in. Two ways that we can think about flexion here. On your back, with hands behind your head, the chest lift is an upper body flexion. I'm moving my head up, lifting my shoulders, folding from under the ribs, and we have flexion of the upper body. Now you can also flex from the lower half, from the pelvis or your hips. So if you bring your arms down at your sides and you tilt
your pelvis so that your lower back flattens down. We call that a pelvic tilt, and that is flexion of the pelvis. This can move even into more of a lift. So that is flexion. Upper and lower. And often they can also come together. Flexion. Next we have rotation. Rotation is when your spine is aligned vertically, vertical axis, and you rotate around that vertical axis. All right, side to side. It can also be done on your back in a supine spinal twist. That would also be rotation. Lying down, your axis is still through the center. You can bring your legs up and we can tip from side to side, feeling rotation. Now we also have flexion plus rotation. That would be like a crisscross or a chest lift with rotation. So we start with flexion, lifting your head and chest, keep the flexion, and add rotation. Nice. If you wanted to make it fancier, you'll see the classic crisscross has flexion with rotation. Maintaining the flexion, adding the rotation. Beautiful. We also have lateral or side flexion. This could be, let's come to our knees, where you're imagining that you're sandwiched between two panes of glass and you're purely moving to the side. Generally, spines don't have a lot of range of motion here, so less is more. If you find that you're really going over to the side, chances are you've added a little bit of rotation. Sometimes we do that intentionally, but it's also really helpful to know what pure, true lateral flexion is so that you can use it when you want it. Beautiful. So side lifts, side bends, this is lateral flexion. And the final one that we'll focus on today is extension. So we found flexion when we went forward, extension, we're essentially going back. One thing to keep in mind, our lower back naturally goes into extension. So when we're exercising, we like to train the things that don't naturally go into extension. One cue for you to be aware of, when you're lifting your back in extension, if your feet are popping up, you might have been substituting from your lower back. Sometimes we do it intentionally, but right now we're going to focus on upper and then lower and see the difference. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Press your pubic bone towards the mat. So we're lengthening the lower back. And now lift just your upper back, keeping your lower back feeling long. This is upper back extension and down. Now you can also do hip extension on the lower half of your body, so you can keep your upper body where it is, your lower back long, and try lifting a leg. The hip is getting extension, the hamstring is working. Try the other leg. Beautiful. Coming on up. And that was your intro to the spinal movements in Pilates.
Breath is one of the most important elements of your Pilates practice. It can be tempting to get caught up in breath though in the beginning and wonder, am I doing this right? Am I breathing at the wrong time or the right time? And have it inhibit your movement. And we don't want that. What we really want is to make sure that we're breathing as we move and using our breath to support movement and help us connect with our body on a deeper level. I'm going to lead you through some elements of breath and Pilates workout and also talk to you about how focus ties in with this. Okay, so let's start seated and go ahead and grab behind your thighs. Your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the mat. And just sit up nice and tall for a moment. Imagine that you're lengthening your spine up to the sky. We're going to take an inhale, and as you inhale, I want you to feel your belly expand, your belly's going to feel like it's moving towards your thighs. And as you exhale, draw your belly away from your thighs and your abdominals draw in. Good. Inhale, feel your belly expand. It's going to fill up and move towards your thighs. Exhale, pulling the belly back towards your spine and sitting tall. So this is belly breathing, and this is a great thing to do throughout your day. And I'm going to teach you a slight difference of how we often breathe in Pilates as we're trying to maintain a bit more of a core connection. So now as you inhale, I want you to imagine the back of your rib cage filling up with air and the sides of your rib cage expanding. Exhale, sit nice and tall, drawing your belly button towards your spine and lengthening up to the sky. Good. Inhale, feel the ribs expand in all directions. That way we're able to maintain a little bit of a core connection. Doesn't need to be super tight and intense, but just slightly engaged there. And as you exhale, draw the belly back in towards your spine, sitting up nice and tall, lengthening your way up. Good. So this is what we call intercostal breathing, the expansion of the intercostal muscles that run around the rib cage. So inhale, feel your ribs expand. Exhale, draw your belly in and sit tall. Good. Now let's bring our arms in front of us and let's practice moving our breath with our movement. So take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, round yourself back. Inhale to pause. Exhale, deepen the belly connection and sit nice and tall. Good. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to roll back. Inhale to pause. Exhale, draw your belly towards your spine as you roll back up. So keep moving, and you notice that I'm cueing you with your breath and your movement. And you'll hear me do that in workouts, and that's something you'll hear in Pilates class frequently, is this inhale and exhale cue. We do it to help facilitate movement and to help you engage more deeply in your muscles. Now just know that you don't want the breath to trip you up. So if you find yourself getting too caught up in the breathing, just breathe in a way that feels natural. Let's add on to this. So we're going to exhale as we roll back. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms float down as we roll back up. Good. Inhale to pause. Exhale to roll back. Inhale, float. Exhale, up we come. As we continue with this breath pattern, you'll notice that you have to focus and pay attention in order to be thinking about how you're breathing and how you're moving. Remember, exhale, big inhale, exhale to roll up. That's where focus comes in. And it helps you to connect your mind to your body and stay very present on your mat. So you get many of the benefits of like meditation or mindfulness while you're doing a Pilates workout. That's why it's amazing for both your body and your mind. Now scoot yourself forward on your mat, grabbing behind your thighs, slowly roll yourself down onto the mat. Arms long down by your side, feet are flat on the floor. Let's do a little bit more breathing here as we go into a pelvic curl. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, flatten your back, roll up into a bridge. Inhale at the top. Use your exhale to soften your spine and roll down. Good. Inhale to pause. Exhale to roll up. Inhale to pause. Exhale to roll down. Continuing with this pattern as you roll through your spine. Our breath is central to our well-being. So we really tap into that in Pilates, and we also want to take that off of the mat as well. Breathing has the ability to reset our nervous system. So if you're feeling stressed, by focusing on your breath, you can literally change what's happening in your brain and bring you out of a place of stress and overwhelm and fight or flight and into a place of calm, being able to think more clearly, have more energy, also what they call rest and digest, when our body can optimally function. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Before we move on, in this position, just take a few big inhales. Inhale through the nose. Feel the ribs expand, feel the back of the body expand. Exhale, blowing the air out, relaxing your body into the mat. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. And exhale, rolling over onto your side. Slowly push yourself up. And I hope this encourages you and inspires you. Remember, you don't have to be perfect with your breath to get the benefits, but by focusing on breath in Pilates, which makes it unique from other forms of exercise, you get mind-body benefits in improving your focus, your clarity, and your stress levels. It also helps you to just feel your best overall. Here in your workouts with us, you'll not only build strength and improve your physical fitness, you'll also reduce stress, improve your mobility and flexibility, build a strong core to prevent and reduce injury, and feel your best. You'll breathe deeply in a way that will help to improve your focus and concentration. And remember, your time on the mat is for you. It's not a performance, it's not a competition. Just show up as you are and trust the process day by day. We're all here to cheer you on and support you, and we'll see you on your mat soon.